extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago. Stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America. Family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes, the one, the only, at least as far as I know. Hey, today is the 15th of August, 2024, and the subject I want to get into in just a few minutes, but I want to just tell you a little bit about something that I just found out while watching the Blaze news platform. And I guess back when Biden first went into office, he signed an executive order that has not been made public. I know, you're probably thinking, well, all executive orders are supposed to go public. What they're saying, maybe there's something top secret they're trying to show that they can't give out to the general public, like sealing a record or something like that. No, this seems to be a general executive order that instructs and authorizes the Department of Justice to go out into the prisons and jails and register convicted felons and all felons they can find to vote. Now, how we found this out was several attorney generals from Montana, Missouri, Kansas, and a few others are joining a lawsuit together to oppose this, because in their states, they have laws that say convicted felons are not allowed to vote, not allowed to own firearms, not allowed to associate with other felons. You know, things that you end up having happen to you, or as the punishment is placed upon you for your crimes. So they had to go through a whole bunch of rigmarole, and they're only getting bits and pieces of this executive order. They're being refused to be shown the entire executive order. So they're having to sue, number one, to get the executive order out of the Biden administration. You know, no surprise there. You know, Democrats will look for a vote anywhere illegal. Votes from dead people, people who don't live in their districts anymore, and even people who are not supposed to by state law. That's what they do. The states run the elections in their state. There are no federal laws that direct states on how to operate their elections in their state. The federalism of this is the states can operate as they need to, they see fit, and institute laws, punishments, rewards, etc., for whatever purposes they see fit, as long as it doesn't violate the Constitution of the United States. So we have that in opposition. And, you know, probably 95% of those people who are in prison, I wonder what party they're being registered to vote for. Yeah, the Democrats. even though it is against state laws to do this, Biden Harris administration, along with Merrick Garland, are doing it anyway. See, they don't care. They do not care about any laws that get in the way of them having total power and control like they desire. That is just a quick little note that I saw several hours ago on the Blaze Network. Boy, they have the best reporters, I'm telling you. Newsmax, Blaze, so many others have got their act together, and they are just finding so much stuff that this government, run by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, remember, Kamala Harris is in the Biden administration, the failed Biden administration. Failed because they failed the American people. They're succeeding at ingratiating themselves and giving themselves more and more power and control, but they're failing the American people, and they don't care. Anyways, the topic of the today is going to be why do we need open borders? And who needs open borders? Who really wants open borders? Well, I'll tell you right now, about 70 to 80% of the American people do not want open borders. So why do we get it? And who is it that's pushing on this stuff? I guess we'll start with who's pushing on it, and then we'll get to the why. So here we are with the people who want it. Democrats, no surprise there. Come on in and remember, we're going to get you all registered up, and you remember who got you in here, and vote for us and give us total, complete power. That's what we seek. That's all we want. We don't care about anything else. Corporatists, big corporations, they love open borders. Cheap labor. They love it. Now, a lot of you go, yeah, that's just Republicans doing that. Yeah, I don't doubt that there's a lot of Republican corporations and businesses are going, we need to have cheap labor in order to compete against other places. But I'll tell you right now, who is it that actually looks for this cheap labor? And who is it that runs these big mega corporations that cheap labor is a godsend to them? It is Democrats. Biggest corporations out there are run by Democrats. Coincidence? I know, just another coincidence. But these companies, these corporatists, the Democrats, their real intent and purpose is to change the, what do you want to call it? Change America, the American citizenry, whatever you want to call it, and do it through illegal immigration. They want to replace you. If you're a citizen of this country, multiple citizen, or if you just came here from another country, you came through the system, you waited in line for years, you waited your turn, they don't care about you. They want 10 to 15, 20 million of those who ran across our borders and that were put on government airplanes at the government or taxpayer expense and flown into all parts of this country and sent there so that they could be registered illegally so they could vote Democrat. These are just facts. You can disagree with me, you can hate me, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. You Democrats are destroying this nation. This nation that I was hoping that my children and grandchildren would hold in high regard and love and honor. You're destroying it. So don't look at me with hate. The contempt should only go one way, to you. Well, as I stated a second ago, about that 10, 15 million illegal aliens coming into this country, they're here in the hopes, in the plan. And if Kamala Harris, that Marxist, pro-Hamas terrorist, and presidential candidate, and her little evil boy, Tim Walz, get in there, you're going to see a push by the Democrats to give these 10, 15, 20 million illegal aliens amnesty. To tell them, hey, you snuck in. You got one right past us. You got past all those hurdles that we put up, those open gates that we put out there after Donald Trump had closed them. You got in those gates. You came into our country. You jumped on our social welfare systems, from education, health care, money, medical, whatever. And we're giving that to you because you snuck in. You were so smart, you got in here, and no one caught you. Now, for your reward for breaking our laws, your reward for bypassing everybody that's trying to do it right, we're going to give you amnesty. And then in a year, maybe 2, we're going to make you all citizens. And then make sure you're all registered to vote Democrat. That way, we have another 10, 15, 20 million votes all throughout this country automatically. And don't forget, if we do chain migration, and bring in all your uncles, your aunts, your mothers, your fathers, brothers, sisters, grandpa, grandma, and get them in here, that 10 to 15 million, 20 million turns into 100 million. That'll give us total control, total power, permanent power in every state and in this nation. And we can do whatever we want we got it right the first time, to the American people. American people will do what we say to, because we'll have total control and no one will be able to stop us. We'll be able to inflict every form of harm on the American people, and they can't do anything about it. We'll take away American citizens' rights, and they can't do anything about it. Oh, Craig, stop it. Oh, yeah? Why should I? This is what's going on. Quit being blind. Quit playing nice. Quit playing, checkers when the other side is trying to play chess, and they're beating the crap out of us by destroying this nation. And their intention is to destroy this nation. So who are the other people that really want to benefit from this, and why? We already talked a little bit about that, but I wrote down another thing here. Believe it or not, Wall Street, who's Wall Street? Bankers and stuff like that. No, Wall Street, the company, people who trade stocks on companies. Boy, do they love the idea of open borders in cheap, illegal alien labor. They love it. The Wall Street Journal years ago wanted to add another, another amendment to the Constitution. And all it said was, thou shalt have open borders. The Wall Street Journal did that? That money-making conservative, and it's not conservative, it's a money-making. They're there for the corporatists. They're there to make money. That's all they care about, and that's all they will ever care about. The corporates wanted it. Democrats, we already talked a little bit about this. I think I repeated myself when I wrote this line down. But the main part of it is to replace us, no matter what it takes. They want illegal aliens to take our place as American citizens, born here, raised here, been here for generations. It doesn't matter, because there's too much opposition out there against what they're doing. And so we have to be stopped one way or another. And don't forget, labor unions, believe it or not, they're all in favor of having us all replaced by illegal aliens. You know why? It's so simple. Back in the 50s and so, organized labor was at its peak, and I think we were like 30-something percent, 35% organized labor in this country. I mean, we were massive. And I say we because, I've worked out of organized labor. I've worked out of the Stagehands Union in Las Vegas for 44 years. But over the years, we saw things change. And because of a lot of the greed, and not just on one side, not just on corporate side, but a greed on the union side too. Look at Detroit. Went from having Detroit used to be one of the richest cities in the world. And now you don't dare even walk down a street without a bulletproof vest. So, and that came about by greedy unions wanting more and more and more, and because of that side, the corporates, the General Motors, Ford, and all them, had to keep raising their prices, and people weren't buying their cars, and their cars were crap anyway back then, 70s and so. And so they decided, well, the only way we're going to make money is they can move our plants down to Mexico. And that's what they did. You know, we shoot ourselves in the foot on this stuff because rational people do not negotiate these contracts, because smart people don't negotiate these contracts. Greedy people on both sides negotiate. There's always a win-win, but who won out of this? A city is depleted of people. Detroit is just a garbage city. Who won? Who won there? The unions walked out of there with contracts that said we're gonna win this kind of money and these benefits for the rest of our lives and blah blah blah. And the corporation said, yeah, we signed the contract, but now we're moving to Mexico because we can't afford that contract. Who won? Who won that one? Yeah, that's how you have to look at it. Oh, and here's something that's also been pointed out on the Blaze on conservative report or television. More people have gone and been granted citizenship in this nation over the last few years than at any other time in the history of this country. Why is it that they're pushing so fast and so hard and moving so fast on getting all these people registered all before November, making them citizens, getting them registered? Because people who are citizens can vote legally. It's not as if they really care about that. It's just additional help and it's additional insurance that they're going to get more votes. See, the Democrats think this stuff through, and they think it down the line 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Incrementalism. They've implemented their agenda and their ideology on the American people. A little here, a little there, more, a little here, there, more. That's what they do. And Republicans just stand there and go, well, we're just going to give everyone tax cuts. Well, that's nice on the short term. The next president comes in and raises the taxes. Did you fix all the crap that the Democrats put into place to destroy the country? No, you were busy patting yourselves on the back because you got tax cuts for people. Good for you. You didn't help at all. Yeah, let's see this now. Let's see. Oh yeah, federal, state, local governments are all working quickly as they can whenever people come in to seek benefits or they need help. They can get registered in any of these places to vote. And the funny thing about it is they just have to check a box saying that they're a citizen. And it is illegal. It is federal law says you can't ask them to prove that they are citizens. You know who put that in there? Democrats. Democrats made sure that they didn't have to ever be checked to make sure that the people that are registering to vote are actually citizens. Your life, your vote, your rights mean nothing to that party. They have no problem destroying your life as long as it gives them power. They don't care that the border is open, that the people going to the border, most of the women are getting raped and molested and tortured on the way to cross the border. They're being treated as mules bringing drugs like fentanyl into our country. Children are disappearing all over this country and sold into sex slavery. The cartels turn everybody that bring them in, turn them into nothing more than slaves for the cartel, having to send money back to the cartel for letting them come into this country. Cities and states are overrun. We have too many illegal aliens costing the American people about $500 billion a year. And the Democrats don't care. They don't care that 100,000 people a year die because they have an open border policy. They don't care that 100,000 children have disappeared and been turned into sex slaves all over this country. They don't care that women, men, boys all over this country have been turned into slaves to pay back the cartels. I've told you before and over again that the Democrat Party is the party of slavery. Do you have any doubts in your mind now, listening to this and doing a little research and finding out what kind of slavery they are into? They love slavery. They love being the party that has nothing stopping them because they've rigged the system in their favor and will violate everybody's rights, will violate every law, will violate anything that's normal and good in this society to meet their desires of total power. Democrats, I have a question for you. I have a lot of friends that are Democrats. Let me ask you a question. And here it is. Is this what you're voting for every time you go and pull the handle for the Democrat Party? Is this what you're really voting for? Or are you using your brain and thinking this stuff through and realizing how evil, demonic, and corrupt the Democrat Party is? What is it that the average Democrat really believes they're going to get out of their party other than misery? I want people to prosper. I want people to be happy. Democrats want you to be miserable. Is that what you're voting for? Misery spread out over an entire nation? All because the people at the top want power? Want control? Want to enrich themselves? Is this what you're voting for? Is this why you go in and vote Democrat? If it is, you're disgusting. And if I know you or you know me, please never talk to me ever again. Dismiss yourself out of my life. I'm not trying to be hard. I'm trying to be a realist. If you believe in the stuff that's going on in this party and you believe that illegal immigration and the destruction that's causing this country is fine because you're a Democrat and that's what the party is supposed to do, get out of my life. Depart. Depart, all ye evil, satanic, demonic people. Sometimes you got to be harsh and call people's attention to some things and smack them in the head with a 2x4 and see if you can get their attention. That's all I'm trying to do here. If it's upsetting you or if you're mad at me for it, so be it. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to put out the truth from anywhere and everywhere I can find it and let you make decisions for yourself. But as for me and my family, we've decided to go along with our founding fathers, the Constitution of the United States, and obeying the laws of the land. That's where I stand. Well, that's the end of this show. And like I've said before, this is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes. and I am happy to have so many people that are starting to listen to this show. And I'm trying not to come across angry, but it's hard not to when you see the destruction that such a demonic Democrat Party is inflicting on the American people. So until we meet again, all I can say is please think and pass it on.